Konnichiwa, and welcome to the Samurai Way, the podcast where we dive into the wisdom of the samurai, the art of Japanese living, and the philosophies that help us live with purpose and perseverance. I'm Lori Tsugawa, and whether you're here to explore Bushido, the samurai, uncover the meaning of Ikigai, or just looking for a little extra gambaru, never give up spirit in your daily life, you're in the right place. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's walk this path together. Are you ready? Let's begin. Hello, everyone. This is Lori Tsugawa, and I'm here in Kyoto right now. Japan is my happy place. I'm so happy to be here and so happy and thrilled to share my journey with you. And thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching us on YouTube and all the major platforms like Spotify, all of them. And you'll be updated every week as I continue to find amazing people to share about Bushido, Ikigai, Gambaru. These will help you in your journey, no matter if it's your personal journey or your business journey. You will find a lot of value with the Japanese principles like I have. We first landed in Osaka International Airport, and then we took the bus to Kyoto and to our hotel. It's a beautiful hotel. It's called the Riga Royal Grand Hotel, and it has 495 rooms in there, and we are one of them where I am. And there are also 6 different restaurants, but where we were every day was at the breakfast buffet, and I have another video that I'll be sharing with you later. There's a beautiful pool there, and it was remodeled. And so now I'm going to tell you about the food in Japan. The food in Japan is just amazing. And what I was told is that the food in Japan, one of the secret ingredients is love and care. Because when you go to Japan, you can just sense and see and taste how it has made a difference in the food. The presentation is always beautiful because you eat with your eyes first and then with your mouth. So when it looks beautiful in the presentation, which it does on the YouTube channel, and you'll see it later, but it just looks beautiful, and they make it so that you will have many dishes, and they do that so that you will feel more full and not eat so much, which is kind of interesting. And not only does it look beautiful, it is also very seasonal. Every season is different. They don't have the same dish for every season. They do different ones for the different seasons. For instance, right now it's spring, and we were able to eat some cold soba, but in the winter that would be warm. And so many different things about Japanese food I feel is unique. Very simple. The flavors shine through the food. And for instance, miso and tofu and seaweed are all part of the ingredients that make Japanese food so unique. And I told you about the fall. It would be the fall leaves. In the winter, it would be more winter, heartier food. And with the spring, there would be something to do with cherry blossoms. And also they connect with nature. In Japan, they have a connection with nature in their food, in their lives, and even in their religion. Umami is one of the different ingredients about Japanese food, and it comes from bonito, and it comes also from seaweed and tea. And rice is the heart of Japanese cuisine. Not any rice will be good for their cuisine because it has to be that short, sticky rice. And people didn't believe me, but the rice in Japan is different. It tastes so fresh, and it is a little stickier. It's moist. But you know what? People don't realize that they've been doing this for over 1,000 years. So I think they've mastered that, and we were able to see a rice planting festival later in our tour. So I'll be sharing about that with you. And it has to be that short, sticky rice because it goes so well with their food. It goes well with the sushi, and also the way that they have it in the rice bowl. If it was individual and very dry, it would drop from your chopsticks, and you don't want to do that. And you can bring your bowl up to your mouth and eat it like instead of from a plate and having it you go from your chopsticks and up to your mouth, and sometimes it falls down or falls on the table. So they have you eat it from a bowl and you bring it right up to your mouth, and you can eat and you continue eating that way. Soba and noodles are also done that way. And what you can do when you eat noodles, you can slurp like that, and that tells the cook or your host that it is delicious. And because Japanese food is so delicious, I'm so happy when I come here and taste the food, because I always think and say tadaima, I'm home. The food is just out of this world. And I hope that you would put this on your bucket list to visit Japan, because it's hard to explain unless you've been there. And the people on the tour are saying that they understand more fully now about the Japanese and the heritage just by being here, hearing the sounds, experiencing the people, the hospitality, the kindness, and also one feels very safe in Japan. I do. People will find things on the ground and they'll tell. One time I left something and somebody came right up to me, and then when they saw it, they go, "Oh, you forgot this? Oh, wasurimashita," means you forgot it. So I thank them so much, because you don't know what happens when you're in another place. Some people will say, "Oh, I got it," and they just run away with the money or whatever it is. But in Japan, people are very conscientious. They've been taught from a very young age to be honest. And I don't want to get too much off track, but what they do is the child would take the coin to the police station, and that would be their first visit to the police, to be introduced to the police. So they want to make sure that they know in Japan that the policeman is your friend. And so that's one nice thing about Japan, is the policeman is nice, and they're very friendly, and they are also very conscientious, and you feel very safe in Japan. At least I do. I love it. And so sushi was one of the things that Japan is known for. And there's so many different types. There are rolls, there are different, like some are with sushi, some are with age, which is a fried tofu pouch. And that comes from Inari Sushi Taisha. And so there's just so many different kinds. Some seaweeds on the outside, some are seaweeds on the inside, some are in pockets. But whatever it is, it's usually just delicious. And the price of sushi in Japan is much different. And sometimes I want to mention that sushi sometimes is wrapped in like cabbage or some kind of a leafy vegetable, and it would be rolled in that. So that's one thing. And you will notice the price of some of these things. And like one of them is like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and it's under $10. And you won't see that in the United States, only in Japan. And the dollar is very strong. So that's why I encourage people to go as soon as possible, because the exchange rate is going down a bit, but it's still very good. We have had amazing dinners and lunches for $10 and under, and then a very nice one for $20 and $30. You will get an amazing kaiseki lunch, which is all these small dishes that you see. And Kyoto is known for this kaiseki. So we'll go on from sushi. On YouTube, you will see the different kinds of sushi. You'll see it on the reel, but we'll also post that on LinkedIn and Facebook. So it's wonderful. And some of them, I didn't mention, some of them are wrapped with egg roll, and it's just wonderful to be in Japan eating all the different kinds of sushi. And speaking of sushi, that's what the samurai ate a lot. Is they eat a lot of rice and fish and very simple food, vegetables, and maybe miso. So we'll go on to the next slide. And speaking of food, we went to Nara Park, and it was amazing how the deer were so friendly because they're used to being fed. There's over 1,000 deer in the park, and they all kind of, when they come to one area when they want to be fed, and they go to another area when they are full, and they'll come back when they need more food. But you can always just put your hands up and say, "Oh, no more, no more." But you make them very cute. You put the food out there, not right on your fingers, but a little bit out, and you show them, bow, bow, and they will bow for you because they want food. It's very interesting. And you can only feed them one type of cracker. And even the paper that is wrapped around is, and some, it's edible. So the Japanese thought of that there wouldn't be any waste. They eat the cracker and they're very happy, and then they go on. Or they'll try to nudge you and you just say, "Oh, sorry," and put your hands up, "No more." So it's really fun. And I actually did feed some deer to this time, and I was able to be very, very close to a tame one. And that was fun just to see how tame they are. We have deer in our backyard, but they're not this tame because we don't feed them. So that was our day in Nara. We'll be talking more about that because it's a beautiful place to be. Not that far from Kyoto, maybe an hour. And you will see on YouTube if you want, but also we'll be posting it on Facebook and LinkedIn, the different videos and reels that we have. So that is Nara. Okay. And that is a deer. That are the deer. Those are the deer in Nara. A lot of people, but a lot of deer. So I hope you enjoyed that. On the first day, we went to the Kyoto Samurai Ninja Museum. And that is an amazing place. And it has been ever since I've gone there 3 times, and each time they have moved. This one is a very nice venue. You're able to see a lot more samurai armor, which is very nice. They're able to display more because in the past they haven't had a lot of room to display all the armor and the weapons that they have and the photographs. It is, if you go to Kyoto, I highly recommend. Or it's in Tokyo also. It's the Samurai Ninja Museum. And what you do is you come up and you will be introduced by the, the gentlemen that are the tour guides or the leaders, and they'll have questions for you and they try to engage you. They'll tell you about the different history and all that about the samurai. And the name samurai comes from samaru, which means to serve. So the main thing that the samurai did was serve. They served their lord, they served their master or their daimyo. And if they did not serve, then they would be do the honorable death, and that's seppuku. So they always tried to obey the samurai code of ethics, which is courage, integrity, benevolence, respect, honesty, honor, and loyalty. And I tell people, and I say that good morals never go out of style. And don't you all want to be around and do business with those that you trust and and like. Everybody wants to be around people they are comfortable with. And so that's the one thing I love about the samurai code of ethics, is because once you find your code of ethics, it doesn't have to be this one, but if you have a code of ethics and you say, this is where I put my stake in the ground, I'm going to be honest no matter what, except there are times like Sugihara was not did not obey, and he wasn't honest to the government, but he felt, and I really believe also, that it's a higher calling to save lives. You have to sometimes think, what am I doing? Am I going to obey the government, or am I going to obey my conscience? And he did, and because of his bravery, he saved over 6,000 people with 2,000 visas. And people are still celebrating and say they have a Sugihara transit visa. So he was a modern day samurai warrior. And you too can be a modern day samurai warrior. Abide by the code of ethics. What is your code of ethics? Do you have one? And that's something for you to think about, and to know that this is what I stand for. I can choose my top three, and I'm not going to go beyond that. I'm going to be honest at all cost, almost every time. And there were other people like Sugihara that felt that saving people's lives was more important than obeying the government. And so we'll go to the next slide. Here we are at the Kinkakuji Temple. Beautiful golden pavilion. It's one of the highest, more people visit the Kinkakuji Temple. Very popular. It was pretty crowded when we went, but you could usually find a spot for yourself. But it kind of rained on that day, which is okay. We had a wonderful time, and our guide was the same guide we've had for last year, and his name is Tadashi. We had a great time with him, and we're having a great time in Japan altogether. And I just highly recommend that you subscribe to the podcast, but also see it on YouTube, because you'll be able to see the slides that I have, and we'll be sharing it on Facebook and on YouTube. I'm sorry, Facebook and LinkedIn, because that's where I post most of our information. We have a wonderful newsletter that you're able to see if you're on LinkedIn. I hope that you will subscribe to the Facebook and to the podcast and to my email, which is on LinkedIn. I have a lot of great information. There's so much good information in what I am teaching, because I'm learning about Ikigai, Gambaru, Kintsugi, Kaizen, so many principles that the Japanese have that can help everybody in their modern day lives. That's where we are. We are almost finished with our tour, which we're very sad. And it's amazing. We've been eating every meal together, except actually all the breakfasts were there, 7 o'clock, 7:30, whatever time we have to meet. And we haven't fought. We haven't had any tiffs, or we have a lot of jokes, a lot of laughing. We've had a great time. And people are so happy that they've been here, because one really does need to come to Japan. And I'm doing maybe an advertisement for Japan. They really need the visitors to come, because their economy kind of depends on it. And sometimes, there are more people as tourists than there are people who are living there, residents. Japan is a wonderful place. Can you imagine if everybody would adhere to the Code of Bushido? Courage, integrity, benevolence, respect, honesty, honor, and loyalty. Can you imagine what the world would be like? And as a transition counselor for the women's prison, which I did for about 12 years while I was recovering from traumatic brain injury, I would ask them the same question. What would the world be like if we all adhere to the Code of Bushido? Would you be here? Would you need to lock your doors? Would you have to have as many policemen as we have, or state troopers, sheriffs? How about alarm systems? Would you have to lock your door, and because you don't feel safe, or have some of these things we have because unfortunately not everybody adheres to the law nor the Code of Bushido. But I want to encourage you to do the right thing all the time. 7 words, 7 codes. Do the right thing all the time. And that's how I summarize the Code of Bushido, to do the right thing. Do the right thing, even though it may not be the popular thing. And in some cases, you have to follow your moral conscience if need be, because lives are important. And that's what Sugihara did. And I'm so glad that I found out about him. But his story stayed with me for a long, long time. It's just one that just kept resonating with me. And when I wrote the book, Let the Samurai Be Your Guide, I actually wanted to have the whole book written about him. But then I thought, there are other people that I want to highlight, and that would be the Nisei. The Nisei were the second generation. So that's what I did when I was writing the book to recover from traumatic brain injury. I decided that I was going to honor the Nisei. That's my parents' generation. I don't want to get too far off on it, but they're without equal. The men and women who braved World War II and fought in the Army, in the Air Force, different branches of the military. They fought, and they fought prejudice, and they fought the war, and they won both. So I want to leave you with that thought, is to think about the Code of Bushido and how important it is in our lives. And think about how our world would be, how our neighborhoods would be if we all adhered to the Code of Bushido. Because, like I say again, good morals never go out of style. They never go out of style. So thank you so much for listening, and please share, please like, and let your friends know about this. Let other people know who need to know or want to know more about Japanese culture, because that's what I share about. And that is my mission in life, is to share about the Japanese principles, because that which I once scorned, I now embrace. And it's a part of my life. And when I'm here in Japan, I feel like I just feel so happy and comfortable, because it's a wonderful place. And it's like coming full circle, coming from not knowing about my Japanese background to disliking it to the point where I rejected it. And when I was going through my adulthood, and especially with traumatic brain injury, I now embrace it. And I hope that you will further your interest, whether you read, you watch it on YouTube, but just think about the Code of Bushido, think about the Japanese principles, and think about how they can improve your life. So that's it for today, for tonight. And I just want to say thank you for listening in. I'm so happy to be here in my happy place. And I hope that you have the opportunity to come to Japan someday or study it, because it's very interesting culture. And there's a lot that we as Westerners can learn from Japan, just like they learn from us. So thank you so much. And I want to say, I'm here in my hotel room, and I want to say Thank you so much. Mata ne, that means goodbye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode, The Samurai Way. I hope you found a little inspiration, a new perspective, or just something to reflect upon as you go about your day. Now remember, the samurai spirit isn't just about history. It's about how you show up, face challenges, and live with purpose. Whether it's Ikigai guiding your path or a little extra gambaru pushing you forward, keep walking strong. So if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share, or leave a review. It really helps. And if you've got thoughts, questions, or just want to connect, just contact me. So until next time, stay focused, stay determined, and keep living with purpose. Mata ne.